All right, family, welcome today. There's a particular conversation that has been trending, especially when it comes to Nigeria, and that has literally become a pain for me when it comes to Nigeria, especially with the forthcoming election that is literally on the ground that we all are looking into. Nigeria elections, according to the popular narrative, is going to happen in January. We're hoping that it's not going to be changed. Understanding that this government where you and I are currently now, things can just change overnight, and that's how it is. But this is the thing that is very interesting to me. Please, family, hear me. If this country will literally work, it's going to be dependent on you and I. It's really going to be dependent on you and I. And I know that Nigeria, one of the things I've come to understand in the 1 year in and out of this very particular country that is literally of a huge pain to me is the fact that we have two major divides in this country, which is number one, regional divide, and number two, we have what we call religion divide. The both of them is literally RR. So that's where the issue is. In terms of the regional divide, is the fact that you see tribal kind of divide inside the regional divide. I think of recent, we are seeing some battles between the Riwo-Rigel issues and stuff that is happening within Delta and all of that. And I was looking at it, I'm like, these are the reason Nigerians are not going to ever come to the point where we'll be united, either in thoughts or in innovations, or for us to be able to accelerate ourselves to become a major player as far as this country is concerned. Now, with that being said, you also now have what we call the religion divide. Inside the religion divide, we still have, for example, let's come to the Christian side where I belong. You have Pentecostals, you have Charismatic, you have Anglican, you have Methodist, you have Roman Catholic, and all of that. Even in all of that, there's also subsect of different divide. Hear me, fam. If this country literally is going to work, it's going to be the fact that we have to drop all of this divide. The divide is painful. And our government, literally starting from the number one person of this very particular country to the number least, they've mastered our division. And they are using it so well against us. The other day I was looking at the news, I think this very particular week where we are currently now, I was looking at the news and to see what I was following this Osun state election and stuff, and just to see what is the vibes around it and stuff. And you could see how different, the same Yoruba, yet different divides. And yet you are seeing something that works, but yet you just choose to blind yourself simply because you believe that one party is better than the other party. You're not looking at the ideology that that party represents. You're not looking at what the party is going to bring on the table or what the party is currently bringing on the table. And I'm using this, for example, to beg my Abians. You and I know too well that Abia State before now literally was a shadow of the past, but you can see what your current governor is doing, and it's going to be a curse if you wake up one morning and decide to say you want to kick that man out of the table. Abia, you will suffer it. And I'm telling you point blank, it's not prophecy, it's the fact that the people who are literally lining up to replace Alex Oti, I promise you point blank, they have no good intention for your state. The same thing also applies to Nigeria, because that's what I want to talk about today. When are we ever going to sit down and literally put our cap on our head like this and literally think and ask ourselves, are we going to continue to bring in the divide that literally has brought us this far, 65 years? And hear me, I know you will say I'm new in the country. That's okay. But I've been able to see it across different sectors. For example, number one, I have a radio show. And number two, we have a podcast that we do. And I sit with different experts in the industry and even down to ordinary men and women. One thing that is common in their narratives is the possibility of Nigeria working. It's almost close to zero. And that is a pain, whether you like it or not. I know that, yes, many of us are lying our backs in the backs of the president, the Senate, the parliament, or probably whoever you are following. But the question I need to ask you to this morning, please ask yourself wherever you are sitting, is the children of those very particular people, literally, are they on the street? Are they experiencing the pain that you are experiencing? If the answer is no, think again. Can I be honest with you? I can tell you point blank, from the vantage, opportunity, and information I have around my sector, all of this political elite that you are seeing, their children literally have dual citizenship. They don't believe in Nigeria like you do. They don't have a vested interest in Nigeria like you do. Even their fathers or their captains that is currently running the country, literally they are extorting resources to be able to fund their children outside. I don't want to mention name, but I know that somebody who reached out the other day was talking to me about how they want their children literally to go to South Africa. One of them is South Africa, the other one is Rwanda, and one of them was telling me in UK. And I was looking at it and I cringed. I gave them the information because that's the business I do. I'm sorry, I'm a businessman. But at the end of the day, their children is not experiencing what you are experiencing. And that's where the problem is. Election is coming. Are you going to sit back and just behave as if it's business as usual? Some of you literally, they've even planned to increase it from 2,000 to 15,000 naira. Some of you will literally take 15,000 and give them the next 4 years of your life. You and I know too well that 15,000 cannot even do proper breakfast, lunch, and dinner for you a day. And yet you will collect the 15,000 and yet still don't vote your conscience. You will still vote based on 15,000 naira. We wake up, we sit back and we look at all the government is doing and yet we keep quiet. I was saying something the other day. I said, one thing I like about South Africa, and I'm going to say this, is the fact that, yes, I may not support the so-called xenophobic rhetoric, the black on black hate and all of that. But one thing that I love about this very particular people is the fact that they stood for an ideology and they were willing to stake their life in seeing that ideology come to pass, which is foreigners must go. The question I must ask you, watching me, what ideology are you standing with, regardless of the consequence that Nigeria must work? What ideology is that? If your ideology that you are putting on the table literally is self-centered, trying to pursue all of these godfathers who literally do not have any interest. Politics, of course, has cabals. But even those cabals, are you eating the money with them on the table, or is the crumbs that fall from the table that you are surviving with? 7,382 people controlling this very particular country, and yet we're over 300 million. 7,000 plus surrounding us, and we're quiet. Among those very particular 7,000, you and I know some of the major names. If I mention the names, you know them, that are literally plunging the economy of Nigeria, but yet we do nothing. I say to a particular client of mine, I'm very happy as to all the course that is happening in all of the country that Nigeria must go back home. Please, Nigeria should come back home. If all of us who are diaspora people will come back and put our brain together in picking a particular sector and insist that that sector must work, this 7,000 plus who is holding Nigeria ransom, they will literally pack their bag and go. They will pack their bag and go. And I'm saying this also to all the law enforcement agencies, from the military down to the lower clusters. You know yourselves. Please, I'm going to beg you. Between now and come January, Nigerians will literally boil. I can tell you point blank. The house is full of gas. We're just looking for that lighter. It can literally be a light from a cigarette that will blow Nigeria up. But please, when that blow happens, please, police, military, Air Force, Navy, whatever security cluster you belong to, understand that the price of bread in the market literally is also affecting you. And don't allow the fact that some leader at the top will tell you, obey the last order, and yet you will kill the future of tomorrow. There is a police officer literally in South Africa that I will never forget his name. His name is called General, Nkwanazi. Yeah, General Nkwanazi. He's a police general who literally look and say, enough is enough. I'm going to stop this corruption that is happening. The question I need to ask you, my police people, my military, my Air Force, and all of you guys, when can we ever see one of you stand up and say, enough is enough, and let's fight Nigeria for Nigeria to become better? The justice system, what are you doing? We saw what happened with Abia State. I'm sorry, I'm still going to mention that very particular place where a woman come and say, no, enough is enough. I'm not going to buy to the detriment of my people. And now today, Abias are smiling. I've been in that very particular state once. Even though I didn't play there, but just that 30 minutes of passing that very particular road or that very particular state to a boy, I could see the difference. It is possible. It is possible. I've been on some certain meetings and I look at some certain things that Nigerians, they have, and I'm thinking, are you people okay? Like, are you normal? The systems are there, but we've just chosen to allow corruption to hit us so well to the point that we've lost what it means to be human again. Our humanity is out of the window. And you wonder literally why the world is looking at us and they are mocking us. Because why? We're literally the shadow of our past. I remember one of the guests were talking about, and I was saying to him, I said, do you think that Nigeria is a giant after 65? And he said something that I will never forget. He said, Nigeria is Agbaya. And indeed, we are Agbaya. We are old people with a child brain. What are we fostering? What are we, parting? What innovations are we generating? Not copying. not improving on the package. What is the narratives that Nigeria can come and say, this is what we are standing? I'm saying this from a standpoint of pain. And I'm not here for me to suck. And I know if this thing pains you, it's okay. That's because you're also part of the problem. Because if you literally are not part of the problem, you will literally understand that we can sit in our 5, in our 10s, in our 15s, in our 100, and also that also include our churches. We can come up with an agenda to say this country, Nigeria, must be good. It has to be. Everybody is doing their own part, and I'm also doing my own part, literally sitting here to say we can make this work. We can remove the 7,000 plus of these guys and literally form a new identity for ourselves. It is possible. But we cannot do that if literally you are sitting down looking for 15,000 naira for you to sell the next 4 years of your life, or looking for 5,000 naira for you to sell the next 4 years of your life. It has to be a fact that if it has to happen, or if the change must come to pass, you have to be responsible enough to know that if needs be, if sacrifice has to be on the table, it has to be. And please hear me. I'm going to say this without no apology to anybody. Come election 2027, please. Between now and that time, every system and strategy you can put to protect your vote, because these watchdogs, they are also planning their system and strategy to manipulate the elections to the betterment of their own private life and not to Nigeria. So my advice to you all is this: if you know what you can then be able to deploy, I'm not going to put pointers, but I know you are smart enough to understand what I'm trying to say, to protect your vote and to stand and say, no, enough is enough. We will stand from INEC headquarters in Abuja down to the INEC headquarters office in your local government. We will monitor this very particular thing with our blood on the ground, because why? Our vote must count. Our vote must count. Do what you can do. Push what you can push. If need be, sleep at that very particular station. Begin to have smaller groups right now. Don't wait till January before you make that plan. Now that you are in August, start making that plan. Begin to get your 10, your 5, your 15, your 20. Maybe you are staying in, maybe your municipality is Abuja municipality, or probably maybe your own is Baguio, or whatever your own municipalities is or are. Begin to create your own smaller group to say, come 2027, we will not sit back and as I'm saying this, I know that even the tyrants also are planning their own too. So don't be ignorant of the devices of the enemy. That's what the Bible says. As much as they are planning, they will also plan your own. Because trust me, they are planning. They want to clinch into power for the rest of their life. No wonder we can see the logos on their cap literally means infinity. I'm not mentioning any name, but the logo is out there. It means infinity. So which means they are here for life. For life. If the pain that you are currently experiencing, if it's painful enough for you, make a change. But if you enjoy the pain, why not? Sit back. And please do not wake up tomorrow when we decide to make this very particular change happen and you want to come on the table to claim a stake. Because I promise you, the new Nigeria that we're calling for is going to be a Nigeria that is going to be responsible, digitalized enough for us to know you, that you are an impimpi. Impimpi in my country means sellout. That you are an impimpi in our system, and so because of that, we will mark you. Like the Bible says, I think if I'm not mistaken, in the book of Timothy, where it says, mark them that mark, we will mark you. And we're already marking. We're already marking. With this being said, family, I'm going to stop on these conversations here because we will talk this. And for us as AfriOne, if you're watching this very particular video and you are interested in seeing a new Nigeria, you want to join us. The number that is currently available on the screen, I want to encourage you to please send a WhatsApp, send a message on WhatsApp. Because the reason why I don't want to call the number right now, because I'm going to find a dedicated number for it, but we're going to call so that we can then be able to form a new Nigeria. Every time I ask all my guests, what is the ideology of Nigeria? What are we pursuing? What are we pioneering and stuff? There is one answer that is very common. The answer is called nothing. Nothing. 65 years from now, if we don't change what we are doing currently, another 65 years will come, 130 years, and chances are we will be worse than what we are today. Because with the level of greed, the level of bitterness, the level of betrayal, the level of lack of integrity, the level of lack of trust that we have succeeded in grooming now. No, we have mastered that. If we do not put a stop to it, we wake up one morning with no Nigeria. And this 7,000 plus, who seems to be the 1% of Nigeria, they'll be very glad because why? At the expense of our ignorance, their children and their family, they are fine. Use the number right now that is available on the screen. Send a message. Let's come together. Let's form an ideology to say, if Nigeria must change, it is up to you and up to me. I remain your pioneer, the Afropolitan Apostle. Please, let's make a change. I took my time for me to say all of this because I'm sick and tired and sick. And I'm not a person who like talking. I like talking with a solution. And that's why this very particular group of people, and hear me, if it's going to be scattered across the 36 provinces of Nigeria, 36 states of Nigeria, why not? But we must be able to do something. Starting from Abuja, the capital city where I am right now, we can make a positive Nigeria. I'm not saying we're going to replace the current constitution. That is, if the constitution is even working. That's my opinion. It's just a book that is there. But we can come up together whereby we come up with our own constitution that is for the people, that literally speaks to advancement of the current pains and reality, not staying in the pain, but at the same time picturing a future that we want to see and we want to live in that future. And we deliberately start making plans with that as we see the next Nigeria. I'll see you again on the subsequent production of this very particular conversation. Thank you. Nigeria can be great. Africa can be great. And the world where we live in can be a better place for you and for me. God bless you.